Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this very special Music Sunday. Welcome to all who are present in person and those who are viewing online. Hi, everybody. It is good for us to be together. Be prepared for a real treat today as Dr. Jessie Downs and the choir present a repertoire of awesome music. I am Charlene Montgomery, your worship associate today, to Jessie Downs, who will be delivering the service. To our tech team, our music ministry, and our food ministry, plan on joining us for the coffee hour after the service. The Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo acknowledges that the ground upon which we meet rests on the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee people, original nations of this land, who continue to call for justice and self-determination. I'm doing one special announcement today. There were announcements previously on the screen above, and you can always go in your e-blast and see more of the announcements. For the sake of time, the one special announcement. This coming Thursday, November 21st, is an open choir rehearsal. All are welcome. Regular choir members, those who want to be involved in choir but can't make a weekly commitment, as well as the choir curious. This rehearsal will be particularly accessible and fun, as we will spend the first hour singing hymns and carols in preparation for the holidays. Rehearsal begins at 7:30 p.m., so please try to arrive a little early and expect to stay until 8:30 p.m. when we break for snacks and socializing, or until the end of the rehearsal at 9:45 p.m. if you are interested in being involved in our candlelight Christmas Eve service. Now let us do what we've all come for, and that is to be in communion with one another. So please greet your neighbor, those you know, those you may not know. So let's go for it. This morning's call to worship is We Whose Journeys Are Always Beginning by Marnie Harmony. We whose journeys are always beginning, we whose mission always awaits us, we whose visions are bent on loving. We gather together here. We gather as a community drawn together out of common need, each toting our own carpet bag of treasures and dreams. We gather together seeking meaning, yearning to understand life in all its dimensions, as it challenges and expands, as it burdens, as it consoles and heals. We gather together with questions, the kinds of questions that provoke us to the path of action. We gather with hope, the kind of hope that pulses on through uncertainty. We gather with tenderness, the kind of tenderness that can only be born from knowing human capabilities as well as human imperfections. We gather wanting certainty and having none, but we are wakeful to possibilities as we seek discernment and gentle judgment. We gather then, unbounded but close. We gather thirsting. We gather drawn to our source, our creator. Come, let us worship. Please rise in body or spirit and join in the words of our chalice lighting found in your order of service. And then please remain standing for our hymn number 89, Come My Way, My Truth, My Life, found in your gray hymnal. We gather in loving community, inspiring one another to transform ourselves to create a more just and compassionate world. For the story for all ages, any children, young or old or young at heart, as long as you can get up off the floor, you're welcome to come up and join us. The story today is called Jerry's Box by Daniel Errico and illustrated by Helda Clara. Jerry woke up on Monday. He grabbed a box he was keeping under his bed. When he came downstairs, his parents asked him what was inside. Something really fun, he said, but nothing more. Jerry walked to his bus stop with a box in his hands. Everybody at the bus stop asked him what was in it. It's very important, he said, but nothing more. When he got to school, the teacher asked him what was in his box. It's a secret, he said, but nothing more. At lunch, his friends all crowded around and asked him to open it. I can't. It's a gift, he said, but nothing more. The box sat with him all day, and no one in class could think about anything else. His teacher didn't let Jerry know, but she was curious too. She decided to send him to the principal for disturbing the class, hoping to get an answer. The principal asked Jerry, but he responded with, "It's not for you," he said. Jerry went back to class and sat down. As he handed the teacher a note from the principal, the entire class was watching. "Well, it's a gift, Jerry. I suggest you deliver it now." Jerry turned around and faced the class. Then he walked up the aisle and stopped at the desk of Oscar. Before today, nobody paid attention to Oscar. Nobody even talked to Oscar. And nobody had ever stopped at Oscar's desk until now. Oscar's eyes lit up. Jerry handed him the box with a new note. "Dear Oscar, this is my box. Enjoy. P.S. It works better if you don't open it." Nobody had more people at their desk than Oscar. The end. Did you like that story? What was your favorite part? Anybody have a favorite part? You have a favorite part?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
The part where he said it works better if you don't open it.
Yeah, the very end, it works better when you don't open it. Okay, so thank you for listening very carefully and have a great class. Let us sing. Okay, what about you? Okay, one more.
How do you make a chicken cross the road?
What was that?
How do you make a chicken cross the road?
I don't know. Okay, let's sing our children to class. I think that'll work. If you noticed in the order of service, we're doing things a little bit out of order today. So the offertory is not going to be coming until toward the end of the service. And that was done on purpose. Let us join our hearts and minds in a quiet moment of prayer, reflection, and meditation. Spirit of life and love, as the days of summer are waning, we reverence the days of warmth and the days of rain. We reverence the lives whose paths we have touched. We reverence the joys and sorrows which we have experienced. We reverence those whose lives have been forever changed by circumstances beyond their control. We now reverence all those who dwell in our hearts, those who are rejoicing with good experiences, those who are experiencing difficulties, those who are grieving the loss of a loved one. May we each have the courage and strength to bring us through the challenges which this world is handing to us. We pray in the names of all those known and unknown, present and absent, remembered and forgotten. Each name a breath, each breath a name, each breath a prayer.
Nikki and Betsy. Robert. Diane.
The breath of nature is upon us, the spirit of life is within us, the community of love is among us. So be it, blessed be, and let the church say, Amen.
I know, we can't just keep watching that. That's unfortunate. All right. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Oh, ease, fullness, exploration, reflection, assuming good intentions, trust, openness, unity, tranquility, refuge, joy, honor, chill, and ease. These are the words that the music ministry team and music staff chose at the end of the summer to encapsulate the environment they hope to create for our choir community in the year ahead. Ease, the first and last word, was the word that I chose. At the end of the last church year, I was, admittedly, feeling a little bit burned out. And over the summer, meaningful conversations with choir members and other music staff helped me realize that I wasn't the only one struggling. Many of us felt that there was a tension in the choir atmosphere. It was clear that, despite making a new covenant in January, we felt we were still not living up to our ideals of how to be in community with one another. It felt essential to me then that ease, supported by these other key words that envisioned a brighter, lighter, and warmer music-making environment, become a kind of mantra for me in the new year, for my own self-care, as well as for the environment that I fostered for the choir. At the start of the year, we began some new routines in order to establish that choir time is a time for creating and holding sacred space. We now begin rehearsals and meetings with a centering, a time of checking in with our bodies and our minds to see what we are carrying with us. How is our breathing? What tension or emotions come up and where? After scanning our physical and emotional bodies, we then light a chalice with a short reading that sets a group intention for that session. This is followed by body work, stretching and pairing breath with movement, and finally, our vocal warm-up that energizes and stretches the musculature of the voice. We do all of this before we pick up a single piece of music. To some, that might seem like a lot of frivolously spent time, but I assure you that this little bit of self-care and group intention opens up a portal to a space set apart from the world, in which we can reflect, find openness, assume good intentions, work towards a sense of unity and fullness, and ultimately explore and discover new things together. We also seek to find a give and take between the volunteers and the staff so that leadership is shared between us and everyone feels supported and heard. In my role as director, I make space for questions and concerns of choir members, and the choir members act with trust in the expertise and forethought with which the staff approaches their decisions. This isn't a fairy tale, so no, we don't always sound great, and our communication isn't always perfect. But I do feel we've recently become more able to laugh at roadblocks rather than pound our fists against them. And more often than you might expect, musical magic does happen as the honor and trust that we show one another allows us to discover a newly beautiful harmoniousness in both our socializing and our singing. At the end of each rehearsal, we now close with the hymn, "My Life Flows On in Endless Song." This reminds us that life is joyful, life is a song, and we take refuge in this when we come together. Yes, the choir has a history of what some have called musical excellence, but that expectation can sometimes feel like a heavy burden, and I think it can encourage ego to get involved and anxiety to rear its ugly head. By finding more chill and more tranquility, we know that we may very well end up with excellence, but we are not fixated upon it. Instead, in shifting our priority to having fun together, you'd be surprised how energy flows in a new and productive way. So for this fall's Music Sunday, I wanted to choose music that would serve as a vehicle for this culture-shifting work. The 3 Shakespeare songs by Ralph Vaughan Williams, 2 of which you just heard, and the Choral Dances from Gloriana by Benjamin Britten exemplify the power of what might best be called well-mannered frivolity. The 3 Shakespeare songs are stunning vocal tone poems that bring to life dreamlike imagery from The Tempest and A Midsummer Night's Dream. The opening song, which has pleasantly haunted my dreams for some time, and which I was so thrilled to be able to finally share with the choir, sets the following text. Full fathom 5 thy father lies. Of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Sea nymphs hourly ring his knell. Hark, how I hear them, ding-dong bell. This text, when spoken, seems to build towards the idea of a sea change into something rich and strange. And it is this beautiful concept that Vaughan Williams seems to use as inspiration for his setting. From the start of the piece, bell-like sonorities, also a link to the poem's text, animate a strange, sea-like texture, undulating above a murky bass melody. In the central section of the piece, the rhythmic and harmonic feel shifts several times in quick succession, landing upon a dense chord divided into 11 parts on the word strange. This rich and mysterious music activates the dreaming brain, paints a picture of an underwater haven where magic transpires. Even though it is extremely challenging to perform, the wonder of bringing that world to life, of dreaming it into existence, opens up the possibility of finding ease as we work with patience at honoring that sublime vision. The cloud-capped towers is much the same, except that it is not the sea, but some glimmering city in the sky that is evoked by its wide, thick, and slowly ambling sonorities. The final lines of the Shakespeare text here is, "We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep." What a testament to our inherent creativity and life's miraculousness, as well as our inherent need for rest. The change from a major to a minor sonority on the word sleep at the end of the piece also speaks to the complex relationship that we have with rest. As my father used to say, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." Yeah, sound familiar? And perhaps when we rest, we fear that it will bring us a glance of our mortality. And yet, it is from silence and darkness that we emerge, and to which we must return, not just at the extremities of our lives, but throughout its span, so that we can keep dreaming ourselves and our world into a meaningful existence. The Benjamin Britten pieces that you are about to hear are from his opera Gloriana, which is about Queen Elizabeth I, written to honor the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. It is worth noting that all the music today evokes Elizabethan England, which for me, and perhaps for many of us, is a favorite dream space. It may seem frivolous, but I have found much respite throughout my life in escaping to dream worlds such as those evoked in Shakespeare, as well as more modern English writing like Harry Potter books. We will get back to Harry Potter later, I promise. And the recent TV phenomenon, Bridgerton. Yes, I admit I caught the bug. It was late, just this past summer, but boy, was that world of color and romance just what my psyche needed to recover from an extremely busy first half of 2024. All this is to say that today's music, like these literary and cinematic spaces that I just referenced, conjure an invitation to a world of fantasy. Like the Vaughan Williams, the Britten pieces have a richness and density to them, but they tend towards the ecstatic rather than the contemplative. They are, after all, choral dances. In the scene of the opera from which they come, the people of England put on a theatrical display as a gift to their new queen, much as the mechanicals put on a show near the end of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. The characters in this play are Time, who is portrayed as lusty and blithe, young, strong, and in his prime, and Concord, who is portrayed as an elegant and kindly lady. These two contrasting energies are united in the piece Concord and Time. This bit of play acting is followed by the presentation of an assortment of funny-sounding gifts from the ladies and lads of the country, including but not limited to sweet flag, cuckoo flower, cowslip, king cups, and sops in wine. I understand that these are all herbs. And from the men, in earthen dishes, deep-sea fishes, new cream and junkets, and rustic trinkets and wicker flaskets. Say that 10 times fast. Clearly, the librettist was having a good time when he wrote these texts. And from productions I've seen, the stage director has a lot of fun with dancers gallivanting in Elizabethan drag. Just as with the Vaughan Williams, these pieces ask a lot of the singers, including maintaining strength and accuracy in challenging registers, executing complicated rhythms at fast tempi, and navigating shifting harmonic centers. But the ebullient energy of the music and the silliness of the texts helped us in having fun with the process of learning them. We were also activating ease in the learning process by having already spent time with some of the pieces in the past and by giving ourselves the chance to perform some of them in services along the way to Music Sunday. The final numbers of both cycles contrast with the others. In the Britten, the final number is more serious than what has come before, a beautiful prayer made of overlapping melodies that wishes that you afar may feel us near. While this farewell is directed at the Queen in the opera, it can be understood not too differently from the choir's closing song, a well wish to our beloveds when we must leave our dreamlike time together and re-enter the world. The Vaughan Williams is a bubbly jaunt over hill, over dale, through bush and through briar, quoting the words of Shakespeare's mischievous fairy messenger Puck. This is also a song of leaving, but framed as a time of adventuring out into the world to mix magic. When we depart our time of dreaming, as did the lovers in the forest of A Midsummer's Night Dream, we can carry that magic of our dreaming with us and begin to see our lives anew. So what does all of this have to do with the recently departed Maggie Smith's role in the Harry Potter movies? Well, in the clip that we just watched a few minutes ago, Maggie Smith, in her typically droll style, articulates the phrase that inspired the title of today's service, well-mannered frivolity. It's a great phrase that encapsulates a beautiful tension between a very human desire for order and a very human need for release. In the world of Harry Potter, this scene introduces the Yule Ball, a dance held amidst the unfolding of the Olympic-style magical sporting event called the Triwizard Cup, the events of which are filled with potentially fatal challenges for its adolescent participants. This dance was an opportunity for the students of Hogwarts School for Witchcraft and Wizardry to shift their energies from the grueling tasks of the cup and of their studies, not to mention their attempts at preventing the pure blood-obsessed Dark Lord Voldemort from rising again to power, to something else entirely. Something frivolous, though, mind you, also well-mannered. I can relate to Maggie's character in this scene, her stern disciplinarian exterior, as well as her warm-hearted investment in the well-being of her students. In addition to providing a great turn of phrase, this scene echoes the efforts of the choir to make our time together refreshing, fun, and even a bit silly. Although not without a productive degree of challenge, we've been dancing our way through this fall season, letting our bodies breathe so that the graceful swans and lordly lions within us all might burst forth and prance. Amidst the tumult of our lives, each of our individual battles, as well as our community's battle to ensure its future, and larger battles for the future on a national and global level, we have found a little lightness, a little joy, a little magic in our music making. So as you listen to this fun set of pieces, let your mind wander to your own dreams. Rejoice in those that you hold in your heart and do your best to honor with your actions. Consider also which dreams you've been setting aside and neglecting. Could you make some space for them in your life? Try being a little more frivolous and a little less well-mannered. And consider, too, how you might make space for rest and for dreaming in your own self-care. And consider, too, how you might make space for rest and for dreaming in your own self-care routines and in caring for the communal spaces that you help to create. So without further ado, please enjoy Choral Dances from Gloriana. So, now we get to do the offering. The music ministry cannot make music weekends happen without your generous support. Today's offering goes to the choir fund, where it will be used to fund our Spring Music Sunday 2025. While you should stay tuned for our yearly choir mailing in the new year for more information, I wanted to share with you today that the choir is planning a music weekend called Mother, honoring the feminine divine and our Mother Earth. The program will feature the premiere of choral arrangements and works for the UUCB choir, written by a beloved friend of UUCB, Alex MacArthur. If you believe in the power of our music making, please consider giving. Thank you. And I will say one more thing, is while the plate is being passed, Chris is going to play an introduction to our closing hymn. And when the plate has been passed around, we will join in singing the hymn. A little bit of choreography for the congregation today. We'll see how we do. All right. Thank you.
Please join in the words for extinguishing the chalice found in your order of service. As we extinguish the flame of this chalice, may we carry its light with us into the world, in the power of peace, faith, justice, and love. As we listen to the blessing of music, may we know this ending. As more than a time of goodbye, may the warmth of this community and the memory of our chalice flame sustain our hearts and encourage our minds as we engage the blessings of life's challenges and joys. The service has ended. Your service has begun. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love, and go Bills!